So thank you very much for being here this evening. My name is Rhonda Williams, and this is our first meeting of 2026. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. We're going to start with our prayer, and we're going to have David Miner please lead us in prayer.
Bless this opportunity for us all to come together and learn and share with each other. Pray that we can be encouraging, and thank God for the opportunity in His name.
Amen. And Brent Coates, if you'll lead us in the pledge, please.
Please join me in the pledge of allegiance to the greatest nation on earth. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. So I want to recognize a few people this evening. So from our Board of County Commissioners, we have our chair, Leota Wilkinson, and we have members J.R. Newbold, Josh Alexander, and Walton Pelletier. Thank you all for being here. And then from the county administration, we do have Terry Suggs and J.R. Grimes, along with our guest speaker, Julianne Young. So thank you all. From our Supervisor of Elections office, we have Charles Overturf. Charles. And one of our Florida Department of Transportation Commissioners, John Browning. John, there you go. We also have several new members this evening. If you are a new member, if you would stand or raise your hand and let us recognize you. So thank you so very much for joining us. We have 4 new members this evening. We also have veterans in the room. So if you are a veteran, please stand or raise your hand and let us thank you for your service here tonight. Thank you so very much. So we're going to start off our new year with installation of our new officers. And if the officers will come forward, we've got Barb Altman, who is our secretary. Treasurer, Buddy Goddard, who is our vice president, and Savannah Williams, who is our secretary. And if we all look familiar to you, this because we were your board last year and we're your board again this year. So we're taking over the same role. So if I could have Candy, where did Candy go? Come forward. Before I do that, let me just say we are all so thankful that Buddy is recovering and is back with us this evening. So Buddy, he's certainly been in our prayers.
Hi. So this is going to be short, sweet, and to the point because somebody, I don't know where he is, but somebody forgot to give me all of the installation paperwork, and he somehow thinks that I remember it from year to year, which wrong answer. So basically our board is like the United States government. We have administrative, we have financial, we have reporting, and then we have Buddy. Okay, Barb, if you'll come forward. Your club has elected you to be their treasurer. You will be in charge of all things financial. You will reconcile the financial accounts of the club and write the checks but not sign them. Or maybe you sign them, I don't know. Anyway, this is the duties that the club has voted you in for. Are you willing to do these? Please say I do.
I do.
Very good, thank you. Okay, and treasurer, secretary. We just did treasurer.
You don't want me to be treasurer.
Okay, you are responsible for keeping all of the notes and minutes for both the club and the board. You report on all of the board's actions, and that's what you get to do. You lucky thing. Are you able to do all of these? Thank you. Okay, buddy? Now that you're all better, which we're very glad for. You are responsible for all programs of the regular club membership meetings, monthly meetings. You assist the president in all administrative functions that have to be done. You handle the meetings in the absence of the president. And you decorate and provide popcorn at our booth at the fairgrounds. Are you able to perform all of these? Please say I do, not yes. Thank you. Miss Rhonda, what are we going to let you do this year? She does everything else. This is your administrative branch of our government. And you will be responsible for all meetings of the board and of the membership monthly. And it's up to you to run us. Can you do these?
I do.
All right. Thank you. Now it's the membership. If you would please stand. You're going to be voted into membership for this year. And I'm going to raise my left hand just because I can, because I just had surgery. Yay. But please raise your right hand. And if you are willing to be sworn in as a member of the Putnam Republican Club to help all of our Republican elected officials, to help them get elected, help them within our county, I guess it is. And you'll show up every month that you can and support the makings of the Putnam Republican Club. Please say I do. I do. Everybody's all sworn in.
So I also want to understand that the board is made up of one more person. It is usually that role is on the board is taken up by the immediate past president. Last year, that seat was held by Leota Wilkinson. And then this year, since we don't have an immediate past president, what we'll be doing is our next board meeting, we will be selecting a board member and having them join our board. And so we will let you know who that person will be at our next meeting. So thank you very much. So thank you, Leota, for your time last year. We certainly appreciated having you with us. All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn the program over now to Buddy.
Thank you, everyone, for the prayers that you get out there. I have to speak to the men real quick. We are very stubborn. I should have gone and had something done probably a week before I did. Without my wife pushing me to go, I would not have gone. But thank goodness that she pushed me. Anyway, I want to bring up that the fair will be on March 20th through the 28th. And as usual, we're looking for someone to come help us. You'd see Yoma prior to the 20th, and we'll just get together to decorate. I don't know what the theme is this year, but it's always a lot of fun. We have a good time putting it together.
Star Stripes and Freedom Lights.
Oh, okay.
Fairground Lights, sorry.
Fairground lights. It's always interesting. We always have fun. So if you have the time, come out and see Yoma. Let's see. I wanted to bring up Larry Harvey is not here, but there is going to be an REC meeting, and that's going to be on January 26th, 6 o'clock at Charles's office, the Supervisor of Elections office. So it's January 6th, 26th on at 6 p.m. I think that is it. And so now, if Julianne, she always gives us all the insight of what's been going on for the year and then what we got coming up. So let's give a big hand. I think this should be right.
Right for me? Okay, that's always good.
If I'm having to bend up before this.
It's okay? Okay.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I generally join you guys in January, so I'm back for another January meeting, and I appreciate you all having me back for another meeting. I think I said it last year. I'll say it again this January. It's been a great year in the county, and things are really moving along very well. I put together just a few highlights of some of our bigger projects, those that are more notable, but certainly not a list of everything we do. That would be impossible. I can't keep track of that from day to day on my own. So just a few highlights to bring to you all as to what we've done over the last year. And exciting times are here and we've been enjoying them. So this year we opened our new administrative offices at the landfill. Our sanitation offices now have a permanent home. If you've ever been there before, they were in kind of two modular mobile offices that were just dilapidated and way beyond their useful life. And so they now have a wonderful, beautiful new home out there. And if you haven't had a chance to go tour, go tour. I think Mr. J spoke with you guys just a few months ago out at sanitation. And so big things are happening out there and just a beautiful building for them to open those things in. Our Public Works Division had a great year. We completed our St. John's Avenue drainage project, which was a over $10 million investment in our county for some critical infrastructure to mitigate some hazardous flooding here along County Road 309. And we also completed, now this doesn't count road work that's in progress or maybe hasn't come to a completion or that's been allocated and approved to be funded but just not completed. But as far as completed, we resurfaced 18.31 miles of roadways and we paved, converting them from dirt surface to a paved surface, just under 8 miles of roadway within the last year. So we have another year of both dirt to pave, that project that takes those dirt roads and makes them into pavements, which is funded through your BPP dollars, as well as some resurfacing projects on the list. We also completed our South Putnam drainage project, which was a legislative appropriation down in our south end that is going to mitigate some flood areas down in that area to stop some water intrusion in storm areas to make it a little safer there. Our Port Putnam had a great year. They designed a logo contest that then we shared with our local students in the school system. And we let all the students that were artists or aspiring artists come up with different logos that to involve them to identify a logo contest for the port. And we had about 25 submissions countywide, and that included everybody from homeschool, charter school, private school, and of course our public school system. And then we had a committee vote. And we have a new designated and approved by the board Port Authority logo. So that's exciting. And we also received some initial funding for our bulkhead project replacement that's going to be out there. So that's going to allow that port to really open its doors to commerce once that bridge opens, once we have that bulkhead redone. The crane was recently removed in a partnership with some of our local partners. And so we're excited about the days to come there with our port. We implemented impact fees last year. They don't sound exciting, right? On the front, they don't really sound exciting, but they really are exciting. And it's an exciting time for Putnam because as we see growth and development and people wanting to come into Putnam County, it was important to staff and to our commission to make sure that the burden of those new citizens coming in wasn't placed on our existing citizens. So with the adoption of the impact fees, we're able to make sure that those new developments that are coming into our community have the funding necessary for the increased services that they're going to expect from the county without having to turn around and collect that from the citizen that's always been with us. So those impact fees are live. They've been live. They went live the last quarter of last year. And so that's going to help our community provide those essential services as we continue to see growth and help us really move in a positive direction. We had a great year in Parks and Recreation. Just an update, because I know a lot of you probably are not very in tune with our Parks and Recs department. But last year, our Parks and Recs department from county-wide sponsored programs. So this does not count programs that are run by our third-party user groups, but just those that we ran with county staff. We had over 1,200 children and youth participate in those programs. So that's everything from beach volleyball to indoor volleyball, flag football, soccer, adult softball, any of those organized sports. So we had over 1,200 registrants there with us over the last year. In addition to that, we had 237 children graduate from a Red Cross certified swim lesson. So I don't know, you may not know, but in Putnam County, we're surrounded by water, and teaching children water safety and water life safety skills is really important. We're the only municipal or public pool in the entire county, from the west end to the south end. We run that, we operate that, and we employ the Red Cross lifeguards and train them, and then they turn and work with the children. And what we saw a few years ago was a steep decline in children being able to get access to those lessons. So we partnered with some of our civic organizations and even some of our businesses, and we now are able to sponsor those swim lessons and then extend them for a very nominal cost, $5 to $10, just to make sure the commitment's there and we're not losing the space. And then that child receives a full 2-week cycle of a level 1 through 4 swim lesson. Now that starts at very basic water safety, introduction to water, and the same child can take multiple classes throughout the summer. And so this year we graduated 237 children who were able to participate in those swim lessons with us. From an infrastructure standpoint, we were able to install a new shade sail, something that provides shade to keep people out of sunshine, at Barden, Bostwick, and at the pickleball courts. Many of you may have seen the pickleball one, or you may have ridden by one of those, right, yay, right? Yeah, for sure. And what we see in Florida is not just from the heat, it's the UV exposure. And so those shade structures that are in Barden and Bostwick are actually over our play features, which keep those play features a little bit cooler for the kids, makes it a little safer when they're there visiting the playgrounds, just encourages people to be outdoors, right? That's part of Parks and Rec's mission, is to get people out of their house and enjoying something in our beautiful community. We also were able to install a new playground at our San Mateo Park. That's a project that we've been working on for a few years now. That park had some play features many, many years ago, but they had become dilapidated and they were no longer safe for our kids to play on. And so through some cooperation with commissioners, we were able to put a brand new play area there in San Mateo, which is the only park in that side of our county, or that area of our community, San Mateo, Willaca area for the county. We also installed new floating docks at the Bostwick boat ramp and at Drayton Island. And we made repairs, substantial repairs, to both Elgin Road boat ramp as well as Pico Road boat ramp. And so all 4 of those boat ramps had the repairs already completed last year. We do have a few more in the works. We're working on Veterans Park and a few other boat ramps that are coming. But all 4 of those facilities now have renovated or repaired or frankly new floating docks that are there for everyone's enjoyment. We also, for the first time ever, co-hosted the district softball tournament for Babe Ruth. That doesn't sound like a big thing, but if you had talked to me last June, I had lots of gray hair and nothing else left in me. So we had 30 teams from 12 counties, and we brought them all here for 4 days. And if you were there and you saw it, or you had a chance to stop by, we had 300 to 400 people at Theobald Park, and little girls running everywhere. And so it was a really great week. We had that opportunity to showcase Putnam and just our area and what we had. And so this year, because we weren't crazy enough to do one, we're attempting to host both a baseball district tournament and a softball district tournament. So we're hopeful that in May, we'll have all the baseball boys here at Francis Complex, which is undergoing some renovations. And then in June, we'll have the girls back at Theobald Complex, which received all of its renovations last year in preparation for those tournaments. We also, in our fire rescue division, we are nearing completion, so I'm counting it under this year, of a brand new fire station in the west part of the county out on Baden-Powell. That is in part due in thanks to a legislative appropriation which paid for a large portion of that project. and it's set to open here in the next quarter. We'll have a ribbon cutting and all of that stuff, so feel free to stop by and look at it. It is a beautiful facility. It's right there near Camp Shands, and it mirrors kind of the image or look of the Boy Scout camp if you've ever been out there, and just a really beautiful facility. Fire Rescue also was able to launch a really important community program, community paramedicine, for the first time. Several of our surrounding counties have community paramedicine, but it's the first time we've been able to offer something like that. And this was made possible through the opioid settlement dollars. So nationally, there's been quite a few class action lawsuit settlements for the overuse or overprescribing of the opioids and what it's led to and the detrimental effects that it's had on the communities. And so in taking part of that class action lawsuit, we received settlements, and those settlement dollars comes with really big restrictions on what we can do with it. It has to be targeted at improving that community health, those long-term outcomes for some individuals that are battling those parameters. And so between 24 and 25, we saw a 32% decrease in suspected overdoses. That's huge. That's a huge decrease in what we're seeing community-wide. And we also saw a 36% decrease in the naloxone-treated dependencies. And so again, we're receiving really great metrics from the opioid side of it, but even more so, we're able to utilize those community paramedics to service our individuals who may be repeat people who are calling 911 for something that doesn't necessarily need 911. So maybe it becomes a diabetes issue, or it's a mobility issue. We've had a number of cases in our community with people who just needed resources, and that community paramedicine program is able to connect that individual with their need and with our community resources, because we truly have a lot of resources. It's just been a matter of making sure we connect them into the right place. And so that's been a wonderful program that's up and running at this time. Really exciting. You may have seen it. If you haven't seen it, I need you all to do me a favor and go visit our new animal control facility. Our brand new building opened just in November. And so we are now out there in a brand new facility. We have 3,000 square foot of office and medical care area. We have 5,000 square foot of dog kennel and care area, and then another 1,000 square foot of storage and cat care area. That does not include, we have, for the first time ever, I don't know if you've ever visited the old facility, but let me tell you what the new facility has that the old facility didn't have, and that's doggy play yards. And that may sound silly when I'm saying it out loud, but for the first time ever, our dogs can go out into a play yard and really just be puppies, right? They get the zoomies, or they go play with a friend and a toy. And we have 27 dedicated play yards with AstroTurf on the ground. And then we have 3 oversized play yards for those more active dogs that may need to play fetch, they may need to run laps, all of those things that a dog needs to do to live a happy life, right? And so really neat kind of anecdotal story, right? The animals at our old shelter, they were fat and they were loved on all the time because our staff's heart is so big. But when you walk through the new facility, all the dogs' tails are wagging, they're hanging out. I went yesterday, I was there for something at like 5 o'clock, and normally when at the old facility, if you were there at 5 o'clock, they were all jumping around like little jumping beans. If you've ever had a little person, you know what that's like, right? But I walked through the kennel and this dog was belly up, laying on his bed because he is worn out from his day, right? He had a chance to run off all of that energy and enjoy being a dog all day long. And then he came in that night and he jumped in his bed and he put his paws up in the air and he just laid down. So really great environment for our staff, of course, but more importantly for all of us in that industry is really great environment for our animals. And since we've opened, since we moved all the dogs in, we have a new director there, Miss Erin, and she is fabulous. She has all the energy of my 8-year-old, which needs wrangling, and just so excited. She's made TikToks, she's wrestled on the ground with them. In the first 3 weeks of her first 3 adoption events, she adopted 46 animals, and that's a huge number of animals that we're putting back in loving homes. And we've had several reunification stories where an animal, we had one that was missing for more than 4 months. And he saw it in one of her TikTok videos, and he said, "That's my dog," and you should have seen it. It was like the coming home of all coming homes, right? The dog immediately knew the owner knew the dog. It was just really, really wonderful. So if you can't tell, I'm really excited about our new facility. It's been a long time coming and really, really something that we waited eagerly for, and it is wonderful out there. Over the last year, even given where we were, we had 311 adoptions and another 500 plus dogs that we placed with rescue organizations or sanctuaries or some of our partners like that. In the meantime, we also started some really exciting programs that all of you guys can participate in too. We now have a foster program. You can take a Fido home for the weekend. Just let him out of the shelter for a few days, right? You don't have to keep him. We'll send you home with food. We've got collars, we've got leashes, we've got everything you need to temporarily take home a dog and just give it a few days out of that shelter. So we started that program new this year. We also started a business program for kitty cats. We will set any business up that wants it with a nice little cat condo. And it's self-contained, so that there's a water and a food bowl, and the little kitty cat lives in there, and then when someone's visiting you, they can adopt it right on the spot. It's completely vaccinated, it's ready to go home, it's got a microchip, you've got all the paperwork, and we've had great success with that. We've had more than 30 cats that were adopted through our business program. And so anybody who has a business, or maybe you just have a home that you have a lot of people frequently come through, we will set you up. We will make sure you have condo and kitty litter and food and water and everything, because our kitty cats need socialization, right? That's just a matter of fact. In order for them to really get acclimated and be ready to live in their end environment, they need to be socialized. They need to see all those noises and hear people and talk to them. So really excited about animal facilities. And then the last thing I'm going to tell you about that we got accomplished this year as a team is we, on the budget side of the house, we had a millage rollback. So our tax rate, we lowered it. At the same rate the same time we lowered our tax rate, we increased our appropriation to every single constitutional office. So the sheriff's office got more money than they got the year before. The supervisor of elections got more money than the year before. All of our constitutional officers, but we were still able to reduce that millage rate to the lowest rate that it's been in more than 10 years. And so it's just a testimony to the county-wide teams, right? That doesn't happen by one person. It takes all of our teams and all of our departments running their areas as efficiently as possible so that we can look across the table and go, okay, we can really make some more progress. Again, for the first time that I know about, we were actually able to adopt our rollback millage rate. So that essentially says we're going to generate the same amount of money as last year, even though we have cost escalations and we give out more money. We were able to make those adjustments inside of our budget and pass that on to our citizens, which is a really great thing. In the meantime, at a lot of the commitment by our elected officials and by our teams, we had retention programs launched. So what we want to do is make the county the best place to work, because when we have the best place to work, you guys have the best place to live. It's really that simple. And so we looked at retention programs and we put a retention team together, and their asks were things that we really could accommodate within the confines of the budget. It was things focused on making sure they knew we appreciated them. And although it's easy for us to all say, hey, we appreciate them, it's very rare that our teams get somebody that says, we appreciate you. And so that was really important to our staff. And we were able to launch many retention programs over the last years to just give them that appreciation and let them know how much we really do care. And that helps us reduce turnover and vacancies, and that helps us serve all of our citizens a little better. We also passed a capital improvement plan, probably one of the best we've passed since I've been there. $25.8 million in new capital improvements. These are infrastructure improvements that go countywide, from the west end to the south end. Everything from water infrastructure and wastewater infrastructure to parks and recreation to roads and fires and rescue stations. All of those things come into play when we talk capital infrastructure. And we were also able to add 15 new full-time positions for areas that were just seeing a demand on service that we couldn't keep up with. Our Veteran Services Office was constantly trying to service more people than they had staffing to do. So we were able to add staff to Veteran Services, and we were able to add staff to Codes Enforcement, to Fire Rescue, and to Parks and Recreation, all within what we did otherwise to maintain those taxing levels. So that's my year look back. Right? And it was a really, really exciting year, and we're excited about next year. So I'll take questions or whatever you have.
Where is the dog facility?
The dog facility is out by the sheriff's office. So you turn in like you're gonna go to the sheriff's office, and you're gonna take a turn right there where the main EMS station is. We call it the main station. It's a fire rescue station. And just past that, you're gonna turn right, and you're gonna drive right down, and the building sits right behind that fire station. And please go. They love seeing people. We love giving tours because everybody's so proud of the new facility. We have drastically expanded the hours that we're open, and we're opening on Saturdays. So we have a lot of really awesome things happening out there. Please go visit them. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have to make an appointment, or you can just walk in?
Just walk in and see us. We'd love to see you, and you don't have to make an appointment to adopt somebody. You don't have to make an appointment to sign up for one of our programs. You walk in and see us, and we're going to take care of you.
And did you say there's something going on this Saturday?
Yes, we will have adoptions there this Saturday out at the animal facility. So if you are looking for a new furry friend, we have the perfect one for you. They're all spayed, neutered, vetted, vaccinated, microchipped. They're ready to be in somebody's home and loving on everybody's family members. Okay, thank you guys so very much.
Thank you, Julianne. And thank you, number one. I had guessed that you would take about 10 minutes because you're the speed talker, but so that didn't happen this year. That was wonderful, though. The report was fabulous. We so appreciate our Board of County Commissioners. I know that in our neighborhood, I want to personally thank Josh Alexander for actually kind of coming in and putting a little park in our community. There was a little tiny sliver of county property, and staff came in and cleaned it up, and we have several members of our community that are actually in this room that are maintaining it, and people are actually going down there and sitting because it looks over the river, and you can sit and look and watch the sunset, or you can see the sailboats go by during the mud race, whatever you desire. Also, want to thank Larry's not here, but want to thank him. I know he's used some of his dollars out at the fairgrounds, and so we had some improvements in at the fairgrounds that he's had some of his dollars go to. So I want to appreciate some of the things that are the small things that no one thinks about or sees, and that's why it's so nice to have Julianne come and give us an overview. You might read bits and pieces of this over time in the newspaper, but to hear it all together in one report, really, it's pretty overwhelming to know. And so we appreciate all of our staff from the county and our county commissioners. So let's give them a round. So I'm going to go a little bit off agenda, and I'm going to ask Charles if he would come up here and speak to us. As we know, we've got midterm elections coming up. We've got a lot of things happening. going on, and also there's some talk about redistricting in Florida. So I just want Charles to sort of give us his take and, he has to forgive me because I pulled him aside as he walked in the door and I said, you're going to speak tonight. So he's had no time to prepare, but he's always full of a lot of good information. And so I just want us to, because as we all know, midterms are going to be so very important for us in the Republican Party, and we just need to make sure that we've sort of got our ducks in a row and we're ready to face that future. So Charles, thank you for your report.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll start out with some really positive news. If you follow the state election results, registration results, the Republican Party is now 1,400,000 more registered Republicans than Democrats. And I can tell you, about 4 years ago, it was 200,000 more Democrats than there was Republicans. So in the last 3, 4, 5 years, there has been a huge change, and we see it. Used to, we were the #1 largest swing state, and in this last several elections, we are not even close to being a swing state. We are solid red. As far as Putnam County is concerned, yeah, that's better. We are. Yeah, I'll just do that. You're right. We're about 15,000 more. We're a little bit over 25,000 Republicans in the county, and the Democrats are about 10,600. And the interesting thing is the independents, or smaller parties, are a little bit over 8,000. So there's only about a 2,000 vote registration difference between the Democrats and the independents. And when I first took office in 2013, there was 24,000 Democrats. So you see again, even locally, the unbelievable change that's happened. And I can tell you, I've told you before, but I can tell you this, most of that change I saw in 2016 when we were getting ready to have the presidential preference primary, and a certain gentleman had come down the escalator and had announced, and we started seeing a change. And I bet that last week before the books closed, we probably had 600 or 700 people that came in my office and switched parties. And I knew right then, wow, something is happening. It's not as much now, of course, because, things sort of level out, and that kind of thing, but that's sort of where we are as far as that's concerned, registration-wise. This is election year, so we're already getting ready, gearing up. I have a primary election August the 18th, and then the general election November 3rd. And most people don't get excited about the off-year election, because we just went through in November of last year. It's hard to believe we're already into 2026, but a little bit over a year ago, we had the presidential, and it was an enjoyable evening that I think a lot of us had that night to see the results of that election. So this year's not quite as exciting, but as she just said, this is just as important, if not more so, than what was a year and a half ago, or a couple of months ago. Let me go through what we'll have, and I'll start locally and let you think about that. We all know that the school system has been in the news here lately. There are 3 positions that are up for re-election as far as the school system is concerned. So hopefully there will be people that will be interested in trying to get that positions or maintain their position. We have 2 of our county commission seats that are up, 2 and 4. Leota's here tonight, so she's our chairman. She's up for re-election, and also Larry is up for re-election. So there is that opportunity for the public to participate in that. An interesting thing, you all know that we went here in this last couple of months, we lost both of our county judges. I can't remember that ever happening where we lost 2 of them, but both of them resigned. Libby retired and Anne Marie resigned. And so we have openings. I don't know if you all know, but one of our positions has been filled. He will be Judge Mark Johnson. His father is Ken Johnson, that has been at the Rodeheaver Boys Ranch for 20 years or better before he retired. And so he has been appointed, or will be appointed here in the next few days, to take that. But we still have 1 more seat that is open, and that's Judge Janusa's seat. The interesting thing about it is the statute says that if you're appointed as a judge, which he is and whoever gets the other one will, you do not have to face the voters till after you've served 1 year in office. So because both of these happened at the end of last year, neither one of them will, whoever it is, will have to face opposition in 2026. Both of them will be on the ballot in 2028. So a little bit interesting. We would have had Judge Morris's seat would have been up for 2026, but because of the appointment and all, they get to serve the year. So a little bit of tidbit there that you know, but that one will be on the horizon as far as in a couple of years. Interesting thing about in state, all representatives have to run every 2 years. So District 20 is Judson Sapp is our representative for our district. And so every 2 years he has to run for re-election. So he'll be on the ballot, and it'll be interesting to see if others decide to run. I know the Democrats already have a couple of people, or at least they're talking about it. So that race will be on the ballot. We also have our congressman, and you know, he's been here before and we've met him and talked to him, and I think he's doing a good job, Randy Fine, from District 6. Why is that important? Well, let me just get to the crux of the matter. The importance is the Congress, the Senate and the House, and I'll start with the House. Right now, with the death of one of the Republican congressmen from California, there's three people different between Republicans and the Democrats in Congress. Only three. And so every single race will be important for the president to keep his party in power, to be able to continue to do the things that he hopes to be able to do. You've heard, and she mentioned this a few minutes ago, you've heard about the idea of redistricting, and just, I think it was yesterday, the governor said he's going to call a special session. He's not going to do it during the actual session, but he's going to wait till April and then call a special session of 4 days to be look at the idea of redistricting. Florida has 28 districts. Right now, 20 of them are Republican. So the only advantage that there is to say, is there a way to take 2 or 3 of those other ones and hopefully, you know, flip those so that it helps the president try to keep that majority. And of course, Texas has already done it. Unfortunately, the state of California is doing just the opposite. So they think they're going to pick up 5 Democratic seats. And so you get into this tug of war back and forth between a conservative state and a liberal state. And where it's going to end, I don't know. I just know it's going to be extremely close and extremely important. So when you hear about redistricting in a couple of months, it is going to be important. And I was telling Rhonda as we came in, when she asked me about this, I said, well, one of the things is, I've been told by Judson and also Tom Leake that they're not going to look at redistricting our state people. It will strictly be Congress or congressional, and so Randy Fine's our person. And it will be only that group of people that will be redistricted. And if, you know, their goal is to try to redistrict some of South Florida, you know, so that you can move either create a new Republican district or, you know, put it where a Republican has got a good chance of winning some of those 8 that are still on the Democratic side. So that's the motive behind it. Whether or not it's going to last in court or not, I'm not sure. That'll be up to judges and probably the state Supreme Court. It wouldn't surprise me if it's the U.S. Supreme Court gets involved. But that's why that's important. Also on our ballot will be our Senate seat. Most of you remember Rubio was elected, and then he resigned to go to help President Trump there in the administration, and Ashley Moody was appointed. She has to run to fulfill the rest of Marco's term, so she'll be on the ballot. Again, there's only a 3-vote seat margin for Senate in as far as that's concerned nationwide. So every single Senate race is going to be important, and there's no way that the Republican Party could lose Florida and hope to keep the majority. I can just tell you that now. Florida has got to be solid, just like it has been for the last few years. But I'm going to tell you, you got North Carolina and you got a couple other states where it's real iffy, and it's going to be who gets out to vote. And that's the bad part about off-year elections, is because a lot of, I'm not going to say us, but a lot of people Do not think it's that important because it's not for president. Guys, I'm telling you, this election is the most important one that we've seen, because I will just make you a prediction. If the House and the Senate go the other direction, then the last 2 years of President Trump's term is going to be a waste of time, because they will not let anything happen positive. So think about that. If you have a headache that day or whatever, you got to still vote. You got to have your friends vote. It's just as important as November of 2024 was, when we put in the new president who needed to be there. So please keep that in mind as far as that's concerned. That's how important it is. And we also in Florida have a governor's race, because our governor is term limited, and that's going to be interesting to see, you know, who decides to take over. They're already fighting and feuding up there. I've already heard the legislature's talking about there's not going to, be a lot of cooperation, because some of them like this candidate and some of them like that candidate. And DeSantis is sort of trying to hold on to a little bit of power, but he's term limited. So in essence, he's a lame duck, and that all matters up there. And so, it just depends. So that race, you'll also have the cabinet positions. You've got new people, Blaise Angolia as your chief financial officer, Uthmeyer as the attorney general, and Wilton Simpson is the only incumbent of the group that's been there for a while. All of those races will be on your ballot also. So there's a lot of things local, but there's a lot of things that are important as far as statewide and especially nationally. So I'm gonna finish with that part unless somebody's got a question, but I can't reiterate enough. One of the things that I love my county commissioners and my staff, the administration and all, and we talk about the growth. Well, I'm gonna tell you, unfortunately, the elections office is the very last office to ever be told somebody got married, somebody's name changed, or somebody moved here, because our numbers have continued to drop. We are abiding by the Supreme Court ruling that says you got to take off somebody that hadn't voted in a couple of elections, and our numbers, we're down at 44,300, and we were at almost 50,000 2 years ago. We want our rolls to be as accurate as possible, so I'm not against that. It's just, so far, I'm not seeing anything growth-wise as far as the registration. So hopefully in this between now and November, we're going to see some more of that, and before 2028. But I'm not saying we're not growing, it's just that they're not registered voters. It's sort of like we're moving around in the county, so if they're already registered, but they're just gonna vote at a different precinct or different polling locations. So anyway, it is important. We hope that we'll see that. We got a lot of new subdivisions and things like that going in. We're already looking at polling places to make sure, in case, here's 2 new places coming in. If we add 100, 200, 300 no more voters, and we may have to look at, switching some of those or that kind of thing. So there's a lot of things to look at, but it's all important. And I can't close but without saying, please remember when you go to vote in honor or in memory of a veteran, because that's why we have the right to come tonight and not have to worry about being, persecuted or whatever, is because of our veterans. And every one of them made a difference. They made a sacrifice. Some gave everything, and every one of them gave something. And you and I are the benefits of that. And so I leave you with that part of it to say, please make sure you take the time to vote. You may think it's not that important city council race or whatever, but it is. So, thank you.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Is Ashley Moody's seat, is that a statewide race or is that a district?
That is a statewide race. The U.S. Senate race is for everybody. Whereas some of the others like Judson's or Randy's, it's a district, that kind of thing. But cabinet positions, governor's race, U.S. Senate race, all of those, everybody in the state votes. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Charles, so much. Thank you. So we are going to have as many of these candidates as possible come and speak with us. And we've been able to do that in different formats over the last number of years. Sometimes they can come to this meeting, but if sometimes they can't make it to this meeting, we'll have some kind of a special event somewhere, and so we'll let you all know. The other thing that I caught, Charles, that you said is, I think, what's our population in the county now? We're 78,000 people, and we only have 44,000 registered voters. We need to get some people registered to vote, so we might want to talk about how we can, send people to your website or go to your office. So that's a strategy we might talk about at the board meeting, and we'll put forward to this group, because we definitely want to get some more registered voters into the Republican Party in this county especially. I also want to bring up that the legislature goes into session, is it next week, John? Tuesday. So they will be there. One of the things that John brought to my attention that I want to share with you all is there's once again a bill that's being put forward to tear down the Rodman Dam. And this one apparently maybe has some legs to it. And so we don't want to just assume that because we've been able to save it every time before, can we save it now? Please pick up your phone, go to your emails, go to a letter, whatever communication you want to use, and send a message to Judson Sapp and to Tom Leake. Is there anyone else that we should send anything to?
Senator Jason Broder, he's the one that's pushing it through.
Jason Broder?
Yes.
So, and if you want, we can send out an email with the contact information to everyone. So, a lot of us are in favor of keeping Rodman Dam. I don't know if everyone in this room is, but there's certainly a reason why. Charles?
The other one would be the governor.
The governor?
Last year, it passed, and he vetoed it.
And he vetoed it, correct. So we'll send out a special email and give everyone the contact information for those people. So thank you so much. REC update, I think Buddy gave that earlier. If you're in the REC or you want to visit to the REC, the meeting is the last Monday of this month. It's going to be at the Supervisor of Elections office, and it is at 6 o'clock. So please join us. A couple of other quick announcements on your, if you have your program in front of you. Our upcoming event, the Putnam County Fair, March 20th to 28th. Yoma has been our lead on that for a number of years. And so if you're willing to volunteer to work the booth, I think we had Miss Jenny and Miss Tinker were some big for us in the last year, and I think you probably saw everyone you ever knew in this county there at some point in time. It was fun. So, and Buddy was always in charge of the popcorn and cleaning up at the end of the evening. So please volunteer, even if just a couple of hours. Please come and volunteer. And what we're going to be doing too is making sure that all the people who are running, the candidates for Republican seat, has the ability to have information at our booth so that we can help get their information out, distribute it, and help get them and petition signed as well, absolutely. So we will be working on that. So it's sort of a, we'll educate, people walking by. It's a lot of fun. The kids especially like the elephant. It's amazing how many of the kids like the cardboard cutout of Trump. They scream and holler and dance around and want their picture taken with the cardboard cutout of Trump. It's pretty funny. So our next board meeting is February the 5th at Beck headquarters, and our next monthly meeting is here, February the 12th, and our guest speaker is going to be J.R. Grimes, I believe. Jay, are you ready for us? So that is all that I have for tonight. Is there anything anyone has that's a burning issue you'd like to ask a question on or talk about? If not, we're going to close out with our meeting and have our drawing. So anything? All right. Well, thank you all for being here this evening. And Ann, you ready to do the drawing for us? And Ann says next month, people need to bring cash so you can buy tickets.
$5, y'all, that's all I want.
All right, here, I'll let Ann read the number out.
Oh, no, I didn't do so well the last time. The last four is 0509.